The structural approach is a method of language teaching that emphasizes the importance of teaching the structures, or patterns, of the target language. It is sometimes referred to as the audiolingual method or the behaviorist method, and it was developed in the mid-20th century as a reaction to the grammar translation method. The structural approach emphasizes the use of repetition, drills, and pattern practice to develop students' ability to use the structures of the target language accurately and fluently. Grammar and vocabulary are taught in a systematic way, with an emphasis on mastering the basic structures of the language before moving on to more complex structures. Here are some key principles of the structural approach. 1. Language structures are the basis of communication. The focus is on teaching the structures, or patterns, of the target language, which are seen as the basis of communication. 2. Repetition and pattern practice are essential. Students practice using the language structures through repetition and pattern practice, which help to develop accuracy and fluency. 3. Grammar and vocabulary are taught systematically. Grammar and vocabulary are taught in a systematic way, with an emphasis on mastering the basic structures of the language before moving on to more complex structures. 4. Listening and speaking skills are emphasized. Listening and speaking skills are developed through a variety of activities, such as drills, dialogues, and role-playing. 5. Errors are corrected immediately. Teachers correct students' errors as soon as they occur, so that students learn to use the language correctly from the beginning. 6. Reading and writing skills are developed later. Reading and writing are introduced later in the course, after students have developed a strong foundation in the structures of the language. Here are some merits and demerits of the structural approach. Merits. 1. Emphasis on accuracy. The structural approach emphasizes the importance of using the language accurately, which can be especially important for students who need to use English in a professional or academic setting. 2. Systematic approach. The structural approach provides a systematic approach to language teaching, which can be helpful for students who prefer a clear structure and sequence to their learning. 3. Repetition and pattern practice. The use of repetition and pattern practice can be helpful for some students, as it provides a lot of practice and reinforcement of the language structures. 4. Emphasis on listening and speaking skills. The structural approach emphasizes the development of listening and speaking skills, which are essential for communication in English. Demerits. 1. Limited focus on communication. The structural approach focuses mainly on teaching the structures of the language, which can limit students' ability to communicate in real-life situations. 2. Limited focus on reading and writing. The structural approach emphasizes listening and speaking skills, which can result in limited development of reading and writing skills. 3. Limited focus on vocabulary. The structural approach may not provide sufficient focus on vocabulary development, which can be essential for communication in English. 4. Limited use of authentic materials. The structural approach may rely heavily on artificial materials and drills, which can limit exposure to authentic language use and culture. In summary, the structural approach is a method of language teaching that emphasizes the importance of teaching the structures, or patterns, of the target language. It provides a systematic approach to language teaching, with an emphasis on accuracy and repetition. However, it may limit students' ability to communicate in real-life situations and may not provide sufficient focus on vocabulary and reading and writing skills.